Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal. I review supplements that can improve cognition, and in this video you're going to learn about sulbutiamine, and I'm specifically going to go over the reasons why I would not use this product, nor would I recommend it for most individuals. And that's because of the fact that sulbutiamine, while it has some pros, it does have some cons. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and let's dive right into it. So if you're unfamiliar with sulbutiamine, what you should know is this is actually a synthetic derivative of vitamin B1, vitamin B1's other name being thiamine. And so that's the first red flag, is that knowing that this is synthetic, meaning it's not natural. I'm a lot more comfortable ingesting natural products because in the grand scheme of things, they're more likely to be safer long-term. With synthetic supplements, we really don't know what sort of long-term implications it has on our body, nor is there research backing their effectiveness and the side effects associated with them. And something fascinating about sulbutiamine is that it was actually developed in Japan for the purpose of helping with chronic fatigue. So it was helping with energy levels and helping with cognition under stressed out circumstances. So it's very exciting thinking that there could be a supplement out there that could help us when we're exhausted, when we need to grind out those extra few hours and be really productive. And I really hope that was the case with sulbutiamine, but I've used it many times only to be somewhat disappointed. It wasn't that effective for me, but as per this anecdote on Reddit, we can see somebody had mentioned that sulbutiamine gave me motivation, drive, self-control, mindfulness, willpower, and a profound sense of well-being and confidence. And they mentioned it genuinely felt better than amphetamine to me, believe it or not. So let's take a little bit of a deeper look into the benefits that may be associated with the usage of sulbutiamine. The first benefit being that sulbutiamine may potentially help you to increase your energy levels. A bit more similar to phenylparastime if you've used it. Phenylparastime is a supplement in which you would ingest once and you would feel energetic throughout the whole course of the day. Unlike caffeine, where caffeine seems to only last for a few hours. I've talked more about phenylparastime in this video over here. I haven't really found sulbutiamine to be that similar to phenylparastime, but with both supplements, there are reported anecdotes of individuals ingesting it once and feeling very energized, and it'd be easy for them to be on their feet all day. I do want to point out that we have no research backing sulbutiamine can do just that. It's not that research concluded it gave worse off energy levels. It's just that it hasn't been studied enough. There are some studies with respect to mood. There are some studies with respect to concentration and helping with sickness. But if you're looking to increase your energy levels, and maybe if some other supplements didn't work out for you, then it doesn't hurt to try sulbutiamine. In fact, this is a very interesting publication, the Psychonauts World of Cognitive Enhancers, and they did a good breakdown of different supplements that could potentially increase cognition. And what they did conclude about sulbutiamine was that it was a stimulant. So what we know about stimulants is that they make you alert, they make you aroused, high energy, but they often are associated with that crash. And for that reason, you would want to be especially careful about using sulbutiamine too close to bed because it's likely to keep you awake just like caffeine would. The second key benefit associated with the usage of sulbutiamine, and I believe this is probably the most effective use of sulbutiamine, it's for mood enhancement. And users commonly report that using sulbutiamine does improve their mood, which doesn't surprise me if it is somewhat of a stimulant. They've also found that sulbutiamine can increase dopamine levels, and this is something which you have to be a bit careful about because having more dopamine can get you addicted to having more dopamine, and more dopamine isn't always the best thing and the most productive thing that you want, because as you increase dopamine levels, you also have to increase serotonin levels. You have to ensure that your neurotransmitters are properly balanced out. With respect to mood, this is a really fascinating study here done, effects of sulbutiamine on psychobehavioral inhibition of major depressive episodes. And what they were able to conclude was that sulbutiamine didn't necessarily have like antidepressive effects to help individuals get out of a depression or feel lesser of the symptoms, but it made it such that they were able to socially function with their friends, family, and at the workplace a lot easier. And that's actually very promising, knowing that this supplement can in fact potentially help people function normally with their day-to-day life, and maybe that could be likely that they would get out of the depression faster, or maybe if they're getting out of a depression, it would help them potentially avoid relapsing. The third major benefit being that it can potentially improve cognition. I feel like this is where sulbutiamine is very controversial. I see most users actually use it as a stimulant, helping them with energy levels, helping them with fatigue, maybe helping them for mood, but I've yet to see anybody, and I as well haven't experienced using sulbutiamine and feel smarter or feel sharper or feel like I can take on a more complex problem with a lot more confidence. Like I felt that with some other supplements that I ingested and I sort of have like a different line of thinking, maybe I'm able to learn faster, but sulbutiamine doesn't really give that feeling. If anything, sulbutiamine may help me to be a little bit more balanced with my emotions throughout the day, so the highs aren't as high and the lows aren't as low, and if something stressful happens throughout the day, I'm less likely to react emotionally or respond in a fashion in which it takes me off track. It is worth pointing out that after looking at a lot of research on the supplement and a lot of anecdotes, sulbutiamine may be more likely to work with individuals that have lower vitamin B levels. So if your vitamin B is on the lower side, it may be such that you could ingest sulbutiamine, not only feel the improvement with your mood, but also more physical energy and better cognitive function. And the fourth benefit or perceived benefit of sulbutiamine is that there is some early research showing that it can be neuroprotective. Perhaps delayed the onset of Alzheimer's and may help individuals that have dementia. But again, this is still early research and we're unable to have firm conclusions on this. And while sulbutiamine may be beneficial for some users, I have a few different alternatives that you may want to consider. The first being alpha GPC. Alpha GPC is a choline supplement. Choline is found in egg yolks and it's a really important nutrient in the brain. I've talked more about it in this video over here because I feel like it gives pretty similar benefits as sulbutiamine would, although I see it as somewhat safer and there's a lot more research just backing its effectiveness. The other neat alternative you may want to consider is rhodiola rosea, because rhodiola rosea, while it may not help you with the physical energy and the mood uplift, it's really good for fighting off chronic fatigue. So if you're an individual that wants to ensure like the second half of the day is as productive as the first half, then you may benefit from using rhodiola rosea because it's just like a pick-me-up. It's like a nap in a pill. That's how I describe it, because you ingest 500 milligrams of rhodiola rosea, and what's so is that you feel energized, you feel like it fights off that stress that you may have kind of accumulated at that point of the day. And so I really enjoy that supplement. I've talked about it more in this video over here. But if you are going to head and use sulbutiamine, it's critically important that you are aware about the potential side effects that are associated with it. And so commonly people report that with sulbutiamine, while it may work for them, it also sets them up with really negative withdrawals. And this is one of the reasons why I'm a bit hesitant to use sulbutiamine again. I've used it multiple times in the past. I didn't see too much of a benefit. I'm also fortunate that I didn't really feel the come downs, but that also may be because of the fact that I used a smaller quantity, being 200 to 300 milligrams per day. This is actually a very interesting post on Reddit. Has anybody taken sulbutiamine long term? And one of the individuals mentioned that the effects lasted for around 3 days and then they felt no effects, but unfortunately if they missed one dose or if they were late to have one of their doses, their mood would drop like crazy to the point that it was painful. And these side effects may not only occur during the time when you're getting off sulbutiamine, but when you're actually using sulbutiamine, headaches are reported, anxiety is reported, nausea is often reported, and it's critically important that you find your sweet spot with the supplement, which makes it a challenge in itself because some users would react well to the lower serving size, whereas some individuals react better to a higher serving size. One individual mentioned that like they didn't notice anything happening under 500 milligrams a day, but when they increased it a little bit more, they experienced the benefits, but they also experienced the headaches. Another side effect you may want to watch out for are skin rashes. It's not too common, but if you're somebody that gets skin rashes pretty easily, then you'd want to be mindful of this. And the only other downside that I see with using sulbutiamine is that the effects are very inconsistent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and that makes it difficult for you to decide if you should use it, if you shouldn't, and what dosage you should be taking. Like one user mentioned here that they're taking it 3 days a week for around 4 months now. See, that's the regimen which worked for them, although that may not work for everyone. And they noticed the first few days they had extra energy and a better mood, and now they don't see any particular difference if they take it or if they don't take it. And the typical dosages of sulbutiamine are anywhere between 200 milligrams to 600 milligrams a day. You see some users using up to a gram a day because that's how much they need for it to work for them, unfortunately, but I would never recommend it. Of course, go ahead and start with the smaller dosage first, and it's critically important that you take time off of the supplement. A common practice in using sulbutiamine is taking 5 days on followed by 2 days off, so weekdays on, weekends off, and I would much rather opt for an approach like that versus other supplements where you would be taking it for a couple months followed by a couple weeks off and repeating it in that fashion. So sulbutiamine is a little bit tricky. Some users report good effects using it every other day, but again, these are some of the reasons why I wouldn't want to use this supplement. I don't want to have a productive day followed by a down day, and I've seen that with a lot of different stimulants out there. Stimulants are something where you have to be careful with. They increase dopamine levels, but it's usually at the cost of something else. I'd love to know your thoughts on sulbutiamine in the comments section below. Do subscribe, drop a like if you found the video informative, and if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon or my Instagram, and be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your support and look forward to seeing you next time.